Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really awesome guest on today, but before we go there, I'd like to say that today's episode is sponsored by the book White Space by April Greiman. It's a self-published book that's a collection of work of notable artists, and another one of her books called Something for Nothing. You can get your copies at madeinspace.la. So today's guest is the founder of Olio.studio, an independent design practice specializing in branding, typography, and digital content. They offer effective solutions driven by creativity, imagination, and humanity. Please join me in welcoming Laura Pol. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
Great. You ready for 20 questions?
Yeah, ready. I also have them in front of me so I can
Perfect.
track.
Question one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
Well, as you said, my name is Laura Pol, Pol. I have an independent design practice called Olio, as well as I have a kind of like a full-time gig with Los York, which is a agency based out of LA. So I do I'm an associate creative director there, and I do everything from kind of like problem solving from a design point of view, anything from campaigns to full productions, as well as branding on the side on my personal practice of Olio. Um, a little bit more about myself. I was born in Cuba, came to the United States when I was 12, and kind of uh, discovered design later in life. I did to try to go in two different bachelors before I went to art school. I tried pre-med and then I tried accounting, and I hated both. And then I was introduced to design and I kind of fell in love with it. So yeah.
Great, awesome. So question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
This is a difficult one, but to answer. But I think something that I have learned along the way is that um, keeping an open mind and tackling a project with curiosity, it's usually the best route forward. The research and development phase, and not getting married to like the first idea that you have. um, it's a it may be the best one. It You may also find other things along the way. And I think looking for inspiration outside of like what you are, the field that you're currently working on, or the project that you have in mind, it's a great way to kind of problem solve.
Great. Okay, on to number three. Why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
Why this of all things, meaning that piece of knowledge?
With your practice, why do you do
What
the
I
yeah.
do. Understood. Why this? I think I mean, design is all around us. Even I mean, the human body is the greatest piece ever designed by nature. Nature is the greatest thing ever designed. Um, Design is when you makes it is supposed to be functional mainly, and it has a purpose. And so I find my purpose in doing these purposeful exercises, I'd say. And so it's a way of contributing to, I guess, the greater picture of life from an artistic point of view.
Awesome. So some people struggle with number four, but the question is, what does your future look like?
Hopefully not ruled by AI, but in the support of AI. I think that's a question I've been asking myself lately. There's a lot of, I think, in my industry, a little bit of angst and anxiety when it comes to the introduction of AI. So I am hoping that for us creatives, the future looks like um, supple and full of opportunities. I want. I'm answering what for me what I would want it to be. I would want it to be a little bit more in support of the environment, a little bit more mindful and a little bit more conscious of the future.
Mhm.
Another thing that I would love to do is just kind of as I get older, just concentrate on type and kind of like starting my own foundry, which is something I am working on.
Great. And five we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Oh man, so after COVID, I mean, COVID opened so many doors when it comes to like location. Um, as you know, I was born in Cuba. From there, went to Los Angeles, then went back. I mean, actually, Cuba, Miami, then Los Angeles, then back to Miami, and I am now in North Carolina. And what's cool, it's like I am able to work with people globally, right? The internet has given us so much accessibility to things, and there's so many ways to being able to do remote work nowadays that it helps. I also love the balance that I have from like this very digital work life that I lead, and then having it juxtaposed with a very natural setting outside of my work life here in North Carolina, where there's like a lot of trees, a lot of nature, and that's easily accessible to me.
Great. And six, if you had to start from the beginning, what advice would you give your former younger self?
I'll have to. I would probably go straight to design school instead of trying out pre med and accounting. I would be like do what you love instead of what you think you need to do.
Mm. What's a day in your life like?
Day in my life is like wake up and get the kids usually ready for school, with their lunches and all that. Then I have a few hours to myself because I work fine in between Eastern time and Western time. I mean, Pacific time here in the US. And so I have some time to dedicate to myself, whether that is taking, a long walk, going to my favorite coffee shop, doing a little bit of reading, a little bit of self care. And then I go into work. I'm online until about 7 p.m. In between there, obviously, have a little break and stuff like that. And um, work with a great group of people in those hours. And then dinner, um, put the kids to bed, spend some family time together, usually playing Uno or a game with no name over dinner with the kids. And after that, put them to bed, have some time for the self again, time with my partner, talk about the day, check in, and yeah, get to bed. That's a usual weekday for me.
Great. And eight is around lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
How do I stay up to date? Well, I have my set of websites that I kind of like to read.
Mhm.
Um, that I'm kind of like subscribed to for design and for culturally relevant articles and whatnot. I think a lot of the lifelong learning that I am trying to do is more focused on the self and on learning myself. And so, I do therapy biweekly. It's like an oil change for me. It's kind of like a self care practice of like learning to know how I think, how I process things, and in turn that allows me to have a broader view of the world and process what's happening in the world um, with more openness and consciousness. So I think that aside from the obvious design and cultural learning that we all do on websites and social media, the self learning is the most important one.
Great. And tools. Do you use digital and analog tools?
Um, digital, well, I mean, type design. It's a little bit of both analog and digital, and I've been doing a lot of that daily lately on my free time.
Mm.
I have also started shooting a lot of film lately, which I enjoy. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get. And the more rolls you shoot, the better you get at understanding your camera and lighting and all that. So that's been pretty fun. um Digital wise, Adobe, it's a thing. Cinema 4D, which I have starting to dive into lately a lot more. Learn some 3D. Also use Glyphs app for typography, font making, the usual tools of the trade.
Great. And life work balance, how do you deal with it?
That's been a struggle at times in my life. um I think it's part of the it comes with advertising. Once you're in it or in a design studio, sometimes you do long hours, sometimes it's a little bit easier. I think just being connected with yourself and having that internal clock, and understanding your body and knowing when you need to raise a hand and ask for some time off to recharge is important, as well as having daily practices that support your well-being. Staying active is one, and one that I struggle with sometimes. It's very easy for me to go long hours sitting in front of the computer, so I've been definitely scheduling time in the middle of the day to make sure I'm taking long walks for at least 30-45 minutes. Physical exercise is important too. Staying hydrated, as simple as that may sound, it really helps with staying healthy, a healthy body. And then on the mind, having a great support system around you where you could chat, and having good relationships that you can lean on when you need to. And therapy is a big one. Therapy has changed my adult life since I started, and I've been consistently doing it for about 5-6 years now, and it's been the biggest blessing.
Great. And just past halfway here, if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
Um, Probably on my way to figuring out that I need to be doing what I am doing now.
Mm,
I don't see myself doing anything else.
mm,
Although I do like more manual stuff like woodwork. So something that I would want to um, kind of like flirt with at some point in my life is actual making physical products, whether that is like furniture or um, lamps, or like clothing. I have taken on things like that, like little projects on the side throughout my years, and I think I would want to focus those efforts into something a little bit more realized um, at some point.
great. And what would you not like to do with your career?
um, what would I not like to do? I think I don't want to settle for mediocre creative work, or like um, not pushing the boundaries when it comes to creativity and design.
Mm,
Um, it's very easy to follow trends. It's very easy to like settle sometimes with like client feedback and whatnot. I think staying like maintaining the creative integrity and fighting for what you feel it's right, and it's creatively courageous is a big thing for me.
great. And do you have a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Oh, favorite word, quote, or sentence? That's a hard one. I think a quote that has stayed with me throughout the years. I don't necessarily know if it came from Lee Clow or someone prior to him. It was don't do the right thing, do the brave thing.
Mm,
And yeah, that's that. I think that to me is a big one, and how to I try to lead.
mm. How about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Um, my least favorite word, quote, or sentence. I don't like it.
Hmm.
And I don't like that. And I think I get a lot of that from I think clients sometimes. And the reason why I don't like it is it's funny that I'm saying it. I don't like that. Well, I don't necessarily like this. The reason why I don't receive that, let's rephrase that. The reason why I don't necessarily receive that well is because the I don't like it without any context or I guess guidance or like contextual feedback. It feels more like a arbitrary personal choice instead of like, okay, it's are we solving a problem, is this solving a problem, or you just don't like it, like kind of separating the function versus personal preference is important to me.
Great. So 15, if you're choosing one word to describe yourself, what word would it be?
In process,
Hmm.
I think would be the word for me. I feel like I am always in process of learning new things, trying to become a better person, in process of doing better work. So I think that's quite suiting.
What keeps you up at night?
Um, my kids, thinking about how I can provide the best life for them. Um, am I doing what's best for them? Am I doing what's right for them? Am I helping the world be better for them?
Do you have a dream you're chasing?
The dream that I'm chasing. I think this is such a big question. I think I have a dream that I'm living, not necessarily chasing it. And that is, like continually to actively learn and actively create again, a better life for my family, the people that I love, my friends, um, learn how to show up better and be better for the people that I love and ultimately the world.
Great. And 18, what inspires you?
I think disruptive thinking inspires me. Um, it's I like um, kind of like non-traditional thinking, when you kind of like bend the rules a little bit, break the grid a little bit. Um, that inspires me. And I think that goes like if not just for design and creative process, but also for life and how you're living when we start gaining deeper understanding, and so um, we break out of generational how would I say a generational the word is leaving me, generational programming, when we've just are doing something on autopilot just because that's the way that we know how to do it. And I like breaking outside of that and finding new ways.
Great. And last couple here, any advice you'd like to share?
um sure. I think advice wise is as simple as this is, just kind of like do what lights you up. um, it's oftentimes we can fall into doing something on a daily basis that is just not fulfilling for us. And I know the reality sometimes it's like, yeah, you may have a job that may not be what you love, and you have to do it because there are responsibilities and such, but making sure that you're carving out time to do the things that you actually love and that are fulfilling to you, it's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Great. And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you? What's our call to action?
My call to action. Well, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, it's at Laura Pol. That's my personal one. I share some work there, share a little bit of my life. And you can also follow on Instagram at olio.studio. And coming soon, it's gonna be a Type Foundry. It's called Resource Supplies, and I'm on the works of getting that live with some tasty fonts.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being on today. Very cool hearing about your different locations, where you're working from, and kind of doing the best for your group there. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.